everyone, Crafting Vicky here with you, and it's late. I'm tired. I'm drinking my red wine. It's been a very busy weekend, but it's been a good one. I don't know when this will air, but this being said, it's been very busy, and I need to make a card for my boss because he's leaving. And so I printed a bunch of digital images, and a lot of you guys requested that I share with you how I color them with my Copics. Now, disclaimer, there are tons of classes out there. There's tons of people who are way more talented than I am with their Copics. So for whoever is watching this, if you think that I'm thinking that I'm all that, I'm really not. And the only reason why I finally decided to do this class, well, it's not even a class, it's to share the Create with me, that's what I should say, is because there was so many of you that requested it. Because otherwise, sincerely, I would never ever show my Copic skills on camera. So I love you guys so much that this is what I'm doing. Now, please, if you're one of the Copic really good colorist, please do not make comments about how bad I do this, okay? I'm just having fun. I used to play a lot more with my Copics. I actually took Copic coloring class, 2 days full of them, given by Copic. But it was many years ago, probably around, I would say 2015, so it's been 4 years almost. So it's been a while, and I haven't, no, actually it must have been before that, because when I started my YouTube, I really stopped doing many cards. So it must have been in 2014. That gives you an idea of how, far ago. If by the way, and I've mentioned it many times, I used to blog a lot, and I don't blog anymore, and I should blog again, but I'm just running out of time. It's just so hard keeping a job, a family, YouTube, housework, and all the rest, that it's just, yeah, I haven't been blogging. I'm hoping to go back to it. But right now there's crickets on my crickets that are singing on my blog. Anyway, guys, so this is why I'm doing this. So hope you like this, and it gives you some idea of what you do with your Copics. Now this little bin was an AC glitter marker bin, but I put the AC American Craft glitter pens somewhere else. I think in one of my, I've got this shelf that one of my friends from the US got for me because I couldn't get it here. It's crisscrossed like this, and you can house pens in it, and it's a little cube. And I couldn't get it here, so she got it for me, and I think those pens are in there. So now what's in here are my favorite Copics, the ones that I go to all the time. So that's what's else in there, but I do have loads more of Copics, and you will see that as I'm using for the other parts of this. But the first thing I'm going to do, and the first thing I always do, is make the faces. So that's why I pulled the little mouse away, actually, but I will be using the E93 for him. But for now, those are the ones I want. So there's, like I said, many Copic classes, and they're really good. One thing that's very important is to print your digital image on good cardstock. I'm hoping, I didn't check, but I'm hoping that it was my Nina paper. Yeah, it must have been, because it's not bleeding. It's because usually when you color, you're gonna see it through, but it's not gonna, when you're using Copics, because they're alcohol markers, if you use them on regular paper, it's gonna spread. The ink is just gonna spread, and whatever you're doing is just gonna go wider. So obviously you're not gonna be able to color within the lines. Just a tip. Now what I usually do is I start with my lightest color. So now for the skin, I've pulled out my blender, which is a 0 colorless blender. I use that if I go over the line. Hopefully you won't see me use it. Then I've got the E3 triple zeros, which is, okay, my god, I need my glasses, which is pale fruit pink. Then E00 skin white. Then E04, which is lipstick natural. Then E11 barley beige, and E93 tea rose. So I always start with my pale fruit pink, and I always use my brush tip. And you can see I've had these like for years. Seriously, like I think I purchased them in '93. No. Oh my god, in 2013. I don't know, it's been a long day, like I said. So I've had them for a very long time. I've never changed the brush tip, but I've replaced the ink within them many times. And that's one thing I like with these, is that you can actually refill them, so because they're very expensive pencils. So if you don't do a lot of coloring, sincerely, like, I don't think they're worth it. But if you do color a lot, then yes, they're definitely my favorite. I've got some Spectrum Noir pens. I've got Chameleon's pen, but Chameleon is a great idea because you can use the same pen for different shades. But I've always had difficulty using it. So sincerely, like, this is the this is my go-to pen. So, but everybody's different. Everybody's got their own thing. And what I like with this is, like I said, it's refillable. So I usually, if I'm doing multiple image, I will try to do all the same color at the same time to kind of save some of my time. So I was saying I print this on Nina paper. It's cardstock that's really good for copics. There's all kinds of cardstock that are good for copics. Everybody has their favorite. I've used different ones, but this for sure is my favorite. That's the one I learned on, and it's just my favorite. So then I go with the E00. And I will just highlight all the edges. So go around the face, and the eyes, and the nose. In case of Stella, actually I should have done that, but I won't go with the darker, darker. This is the part where you put the ink, and I never use my sketch part. I'm sure there's some people that use it, but for me it's only the refill part of my crayon. I never use it otherwise. So I'm trying to go with wherever there would be the shadows. Those are going to be the darkest. And again, I'm not an expert on this, so do not get upset with me. This is the E04. This is the darkest. And this one, you only go in the deep shadows, because it's really dark. And I'm hoping you guys can actually see. Okay. So I only go for the deepest of shadows. I don't go anywhere else because it's really dark. And I do the same thing with this girl. So this is always what I do when I'm doing cards. I color them like I'm doing now. And now I'm using the E11. And then I'll kind of go over where I went with the E04. But I'll go a little bit deeper. And my E11 is starting to run out of ink. I have to add ink soon to it. It's getting dry. And you can tell by the when you're putting the color, it's not as juicy. If that makes any sense. I'm sure if you've colored with markers before, you'll understand what I mean. Okay. Okay, then I go backwards. I don't do the 04 again, but I could do the E double zero, and then I'll blend whatever I've done. Kind of blend it together and bring it in. And I'll do the same thing with this one. And you can see as you go through, it does go through the paper, but it doesn't spread, which is why you really need proper paper. And this is just a regular printout with my my brother printer, just one of those regular printers that does fax and scans and all that sort of thing. So it really, the ink will not smear, at least to my experience, it will not smear. So usually it's been always really good. You don't see any smearing of ink. Then I go back with the E000 and I just finish it off and just blend it again. So that's one done. The goal is to not have any big visible lines. Through what you're making. Okay, so we got that done. Then I go with the E93 and I just put a little bit of pink on the cheeks, just like so. In the case of Stella, which is this image from Bugaboo, I won't be going with the E000 because I didn't put as much as here. But this one is a Dilly Bean image, and yeah, I just needed to go back. So those are the skin colors done. Now the next part is going to be the hair. This one I'm going to do in brown. This one I'm going to do in gray. So my gray is not there, is not in this bin. Oh, and I said I wanted to use this for my little mouse. So here's my brown. Okay, so for the hair, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be using the E31, E35, E39, E37. Now, for the hair, I usually go darkest to lightest. There's all kinds of ways of doing this, and I just flicker. And this comes with a lot of practice, I guess. So I usually do the endings first. And this part obviously is going to be darker because it's underneath. And I went a tiny bit over here, so I'm just going to do this, and it brings the alcohol ink within the image. Okay, now I'm going to go with the E37, which is the next one, and I'm going to go over the part I've already done, but extend it further. So it kind of blends the initial one, but it also extends it. Whoops, I just realized I've got a bunch of hair over here. That one's good. I'll just do this. This part here that it went over the line, I don't really care because it's part of the hair from the top, so it's gonna get covered up. It won't show. So it does take some time to color images, and depending on how fancy they are, it can take you up to, I would think some people probably spend an hour on them. The most I've done is probably half an hour because I'm not as patient and I'm not as good as some of the other colorists. So now I'm using E35, and again, same technique. I'm going over the parts that have been done already and just bringing it in. And this part I'm just going to color fully. This one I won't do so much. This part, yes, because it's underneath. And finally, E31. And this one I'll completely close the loop. So you can see that the paper got very saturated with the skin. It's pretty much doing the same thing. Well, a little bit less with the hair because I'm not going as much over every single part. Now I'm just going to go lightly again with the 95 just to kind of blend it in a little bit more. And I went over, obviously. at least you can see that I can correct the mistake. I'm gonna go directly with the E39, and I'm just gonna make some more marks because obviously a lot of the dark has kind of disappeared and I want the texture to be there. So I'm pretty happy with her right now. So that's the hair done. Now the eyes, I really love using blue, no matter which color of hair I do. So I'm gonna be using those for eyes. My favorite color for the lips is R32. So usually I will just go in and I will leave a little blank spot just so that there's a little highlight. And in her case, well, there's really no mouth. So that's that. In this case, I want to go and do the cheeks since I've got the crayon out. And I'm gonna do the ears because that's what I would do. Okay, so that's that. Now we're doing the eyes. So I've got my BGs, so it's blue green. So I've got the BG 000, the 01 and the 02. I used to have another one, but I ran out of ink and I haven't been able to replace it. So yeah, it happens. So I'm gonna go with the really dark first, and I won't color the full thing in. I'll just go with the extremes, and then a little bit like I did for the hair. I also love to do green for the eyes. Now I had the blue, so it's gonna be blue, and then I go over it with the lighter one just to blend it all in. So that's this. Okay, now for the other colors. I've got a feeling it's gonna make a big mess. Because I've got my little binders of copics all over the place. You can probably see my face in here. Sorry guys. There's all kinds of stuff underneath my desk. So this is what I have to house my copics. Let me bring you back up. So I've got some by colors. So they house all the copics, and then they're by colors here. So I'm going to be using the grays. I don't think I want to use the gray on her. Well, actually, yes, I need to do the eyes. So one thing too that I didn't share with you guys, mine is really old now, as you can see. But this is a chart that you can get at www.copicmarker.com. At least you could at the time. This was from 2011, 2012. And you have all the different copics. And I did color them all in. All the ones I have. You can see I don't have those. I don't have these. But I do have a lot here. So actually the 000 is the 4 zeros that I don't think I have anymore. I don't know. There's one here that I'm missing, or it might be in the B's. Anyway, so these are the chart, and I usually pull this out when I'm coloring because this way I can tell which colors I want to pull out. And you can see it's been through the war. I mean, it's really been used. And the ones that have little check marks in pencils are the ones I have actually the refills for. There's some here that I have never refilled, so you can see that. I mean, it's really, Copics are expensive, but they're an investment and they last a very, very long time. So it's to me it's worth it, especially for the skin. I was never able to do skin without Copics. It just doesn't work out for me. So now for the eyes, I'm gonna use, I'm missing no, I will be using this, which is N3. And actually, I'll just color it all in, and then I'll try to do the pupil with my blending tool, and hopefully not make a mess. Okay, so, and you're hearing my husband order on the phone because it's late. I made some food for the week, but we're ordering out for tonight. Okay, then I'm just putting a little bit of a blending. I'm using the blending tool here just to do the little spot of light, basically. So that's the eyes. Now let me put my markers back. I'm very anal about this. I really like them to be in the proper order. If they're not, I really get flustered. So even this, like putting those in a special bin was really hard for me. But at the same time, those are the colors I use all the time. So it was much smarter to do it this way. For the mouse, I really love to use the W's, which are the warm grays. So we're going to use very pale for the little hands. And then we're going to go much darker for the skin, the little part here. And like that. I like doing the outlines more darker, and then bringing in lighter after, because usually like under the chin will be darker. And if you want his face to look rounded, the further portions are going to be darker. So then I'm going to go with the W2. So I skipped a number. And I'm blending in the lines that I had of the other pencil, the other crayon, marker, whatever. Okay, and then I'll go with the W1. And kind of finish them off. And this will add texture so that he does look like he's got dimension and he's not just flat. And I'm thinking his little hands are way too pale, we're not seeing them. I'm gonna use my W0 to just highlight them a little bit more. Okay, so we've got that done. Doesn't it look cute? You're far again. Whoops. So, I'm hoping you're liking him so far. Now, for her, obviously the screen is going to be very dark. So, I think I'm going to use a C09 to do the outside. And I don't want to do shading on this. I could, but I don't want to. Okay, so that's done. Actually, you can do this too. And then I'm going to do a little mouse, because that's usually dark. And should do the wheels of the chair, because I don't know about you, but in my office, that part is usually very dark. Okay, and then I'm going to go with the C08. I'm going to do this right here. I'm going to try to leave some space so that I can actually come in with another pen and do a little bit more. Then I'm going to go with the C06. It's better to go lighter and blend in, and you can always add darker after than doing the opposite, because obviously once it's too dark, it's too dark. Okay, so that's that. Then I think I'm gonna use the C06 for the chair, so that it's gray and not I should have used this for that. This, which is the C09. So I'm using this for that. The C6. I sucked at trying to give people tips on this. And then I'm gonna skip. I'm gonna go with C4. And blend that in, and I can come back with the C5 after. If I need, because often when you're blending, it does, like, obviously, like if you're blending and going from tree colors down, it wouldn't work, but if you're going with two, it usually just leaves just a little line like this. So I hope you guys can actually see this. Now for the screen, I'm gonna use let's use the N3. So just gonna go like that. And then I'm going to use the N2 to finish it off. Okay, so just like that. So you can see kind of different shades there. For hair, I usually go with the C's. But let's go with the T's this time. So let's do 5, 3, and 1. So T5, T3, and T1. So I'll usually go just, especially when it's curly hair like this, I'll usually just do some parts, and then I'll come back and just go over and over and over, and just dark around her head. So just something like this, and then I'll go with the 3 and bring it in. It's feeding time. You can see this one is juicy, like the color is just I don't use that one as much. This one too. And it's juicy, but I've never replaced the ink inside, and I've never replaced, like, so I've had these for years. So they're very expensive, but if you're gonna invest in something, if you're really into coloring, this is a good pen. If you're gonna be purchasing the proper paper to go with it, though. Okay, so we've got that done. Now I think I'm gonna do the drawers into gray and into brown. So this part will be done. The gray, I'm gonna put those away. Now I've got another one that has the violets and the green, oh my god, the orange. It's also got the blue violet. So it's got the violet and the blue violet one. So for her, I would like to use, and then I refer to my little chart to see which colors I'd like. So I think for the violets, the 6, 5, and 4 are going to be my go-to for the little dress and the shoes. And this might not have been her butt, but I'm figuring it is. And I'm leaving this little blank. Actually, I could put it in. Yeah, she could be a little bit heavier. I'm gonna go on here. So I'm doing all the outline. That's the part I'll do. And then I'll go with the 5. The ones that are very small, I'll just fill in. And then I'll finish off with the 4. So, just like that. And now I feel like the shading went away, so I'm just gonna go over it again just a bit, because I'm feeling like whatever I put shade on kind of disappeared a bit. So that's that. Then I'm gonna do the shoes. I'm gonna do them in the same color to make it easy on myself. I could do other colors, but obviously using the same makes it easier. Actually, should I use the 6? And then this. Oh. That was my husband. Big sigh of, oh my god, we're Sunday. I have to work tomorrow. Okay, one thing I forgot when I had the gray out is to do the glasses. I would have liked to put just a tiny bit of gray on them. So I'm going to go and pull them out just for that. And I'm just going to use a C1. And just lightly. Just a little bit. Oh my god. Everything is falling. Okay, so that is that part of it. Let's be colorful and let's do our mug in orange. Just because we can and I want to. And then the 65. Got a feeling this video is going to be very long. Okay, so I'm done with those colors for this image. Now for this one, I need to bring in some other colors because obviously otherwise it's going to be very boring. And I'm thinking that I do want the violet because I do like that a lot. So I think I'm going to go with the same ones we did before for the mug. I'm going to do the dark here with the darker shade. Now obviously there's stars, so you have to be a little bit more careful about your flicking. Hoping that you're finding this interesting and not totally bored to death. I can just imagine the number of thumbs down I'm gonna get on this video. Anyway, I'm not doing that for those people. I'm doing it for the ones that really wanted to see it. So hopefully those of you that really wanted to see it are going to be happy with it. Okay, so that is that. Oh, actually, do that. I could have done two different. Oh, whew. That was a big boo-boo. Okay, so pretty much corrected. This basically repels the ink so that it goes back to where it's supposed to be. Oh, I'm doing the 05. What am I doing? It's supposed to be 06. No kidding, I'm finding it not as dark. Okay, so there's that. I'm going to use the 05. So I'm doing the 05 next. Under these little paws. And then I'm going to finish it off with the 04. And then I can always come back and add more if I need in certain areas. Let me just talk to my husband for 2 seconds. Okay, so just had to verify something with him for the meal and just realized that we made a boo-boo. We were supposed to unfreeze some ribs and we forgot. Oh well. It is what it is. Now I've got a little bit of purple in here. I want it out. Okay, so that. But then you have to be careful because it pushed it even further than where I wanted. Okay, so now we've got that done. I'm thinking that it would be cool to have his little hat in purple as well. So I'm gonna do that. Here we go. Okay, so that's enough. And then I'll go with the 04. Alright, so we finished with this one. And I don't want you to use the purple and the orange for the other colors, so we're fine with this. Then let's go with the yellows, if I can pull them out from where they are. So my green and yellows, they're these. So in the yellows I'm really running out because I've used them a lot and I need to refill them and I don't have the proper ink to refill them, which really sucks. And I need to get some, but I don't know why, but at one point there was like there wasn't as much ink refills available, so now I need to check and I need to look at closely the ones I've got. So I'm gonna do this one as well with the flame, obviously, and I'm not gonna do yellow on this. I'm gonna go with blues, so I don't need that. And I'm just gonna go, actually I think I'm gonna go with the darker, which is the 18, and then go back down because I'm missing the other part. Okay, and then I'm gonna go directly, and that really sucks if I have to do this. I'll actually go with the 35, I think. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the 35. And actually maybe the 32 would be the best. It'd be paler, but it wouldn't be, yeah, because the other ones are way more clear and it's just not gonna do it for me. Okay, so that, and then I'll just go here and add a bit more orange. And this one is the W38. Okay, so we've done the orange, and I don't want to use green, so I'll go directly with the blues. trying to put them back in order so that I don't make a mess out of my stuff, because after that it's kind of hard to put it back together. So those are the blues and the blue green. So those are the ones I've got, and yeah, I really love my Copics, like I told you guys. Okay, so I'm not going to be using blue for this one, but I'm going to be using blue for those two. So I want to have some really dark and some more pale. So I think I'm going to go with the B18, and I'm going to go with B12. And those I purchased used, and I'm still using them. I would much prefer to have sketch. These are sketch markers. These are regular Copic markers. I much prefer the sketch than this one. I just do the feel of them. It's not the same. What can I say? So yeah, one of the things I wanted was to replace all these with sketch, but at the same time I preferred purchasing new colors that I didn't have, so I never fully replaced them. And I bought them used, and you can see I'm still using some of them. So like I said, they are really good quality, and the ink lasts forever. They don't dry out, at least not to my experience anyway. Maybe some other people have had that experience, but I didn't. I haven't had any dry out on me. So, you know, everybody likes their own markers more than others. Some brands more than others. It depends on, I guess, what you learned with. In my case, I started coloring with digital image or even stamped image more with Copics. Actually, it was with Tombow markers first, but I never got into Tombow as much as with Copics. I don't know why. Probably because I couldn't do the skin the same way. Okay, so that one is done. So this one is done except for the art, which we're gonna do next. And then finish off this one. Okay, so we've done that. Now I'm just gonna go with my blending pen. I'm just gonna make a lighter. I didn't really use the lighter colors. I'm kind of cheating. Okay, there we go. So the next color of E that I have is my reds and pink. So those are the ones. I really love those. Some of my favorite ones are probably the R14 is one I really love. Let me use it here. And I'm going to use the R12. And one thing too that you can do, because here there's a big difference in colors, so you can do this and it kind of mixes the color on your marker. So I really like how that turned out, except for the fact that I went over the line again. Here we go. So this image is done. Now let's finish this one off. So for this one, I'm going to use the R27, which is also one of my favorites. It's a much darker red. And I'm going to use the R24 to finish in that little heart. So that image is also finished coloring. So we got this one to finish. And I said I was going to use the browns. So that's what we're pulling. And I'm making a mess. Yep. That's what I do. I've got all these things attached to my caddy and it just keeps falling. It's these little things, and I will put my pens in it, and then when I'm getting stuff like this that's underneath in the middle shelf, that then everything just falls. Yeah. So these are my browns. My favorite ones are these three, the E23, 25, and 27, as well as E97 and 99. The E97 and 99 I usually use for terracotta, but for the desk I'm going to use the E27 and that series. So I'm just going to play with those. So like that. So like that. Just go around the leg because it would do some sort of shadow. So we're almost done, guys. I'm very anxious to read the comments about this video, and if you've liked it or not. Hopefully I didn't do all that coloring on camera for nothing. Hopefully some of you guys will have enjoyed the process. Now that's my E25, and you can see this one is much drier. It's not doing the proper job at all. So let's go with the 23 and hope for the best. Yeah, this one is going better. The other one was just not, it's way too dry. I need to add more ink in it, and I hope I have it. No, I don't. So I'm gonna have to buy the refill for it. I have the refill for this one, but not for the other one. Whoops. And I don't want to see big lines, so I'm trying to remove them. And I went over a tiny bit here. Okay, so here we go. So that's my last one. Then the only thing I would like to share with you guys, and might be of some interest to some, but most of you probably have done this already and are going to find this very boring, but anyway, hope it's not the case. When I have, oh my god, wish me luck pulling this out. Okay, so when I have stars and stuff like that and I want to highlight them, I pull out some of my stickles, and I have some gold ones, which is goldenrod, and I will do this to finish it off, maybe. Okay, so of course, because we're on camera, it's not gonna want to collaborate. Come on. There's, you've seen me having issues with my glossy accent. This is the same thing with the stickles. It's kind of a glue, so if you don't use it often, it clogs and it's just a nightmare. Okay, we got it going. So then I'll just add a bit of this to the different parts that I want sparkly. And I just find that it makes a big difference. If you're gonna buy just one bottle of stickles, buy the clear one, because then you can put it on top of a color and it's gonna be enough to show. If you have a love of crafting supplies and are an addict like me, then yeah, go for it, but otherwise just buy that one. So that's what I would do with the candles. Now the last thing I would do with the eyeglasses, just to finish it off, is to put my glossy accent. So hopefully this time around, not this one was clogged last time. I used this one recently. Hopefully it works. Maybe not. I don't know if you heard, but the doorbell rang, so the pizza has arrived, and the dogs are going nuts. Okay, so then I would just put a tiny bit here and there, just so that it makes it look like glasses. And that is the end of that. So I hope that you've enjoyed the process with me. I'm looking forward to reading your comments if it's something you liked. If it's not, well, I will never do this again. If it's something that you did enjoy, maybe sometime we can do this again. Be careful, because I always put my fingers in the stickles or in the glossy accent, so really put those away so that you do not mess it up. That's it. Bye everyone.